Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Tommy. Today, I'm going to show you my technique for setting a benchtop joiner's fence to 90 degrees. Whether this is your first time here, or if you've been here before, welcome to 1 Minute Workbench. These little benchtop joiners can have really finicky fences, and they can sometimes be difficult to set to 90 degrees. I especially have trouble getting both ends of the fence set to 90 degrees. Through trial and error, I've developed a technique that lets me get it set correctly in a pretty short amount of time. The first thing you want to do is loosen the 90-degree set screw. Then loosen the knob that controls the angle of the fence. Make sure it's loose. Using a spring clamp, clamp a square at one end of the fence, and then clamp another square to the other end of the fence, also using a spring clamp. Gently tap both squares until they're perfectly aligned with the table and the fence. The spring clamp will allow for some movement, and you want that. Check to see if it's perfectly square. You can use a flashlight to see if there's any gaps. If you do notice a gap, make any adjustments necessary. You can reposition the spring clamp, move the fence around, move the squares, whatever you need in order to make sure that the square is perfectly aligned with the table and the fence. Once you're pretty sure you've got it, check again to see if you see any gaps. If all the gaps are gone, go ahead and tighten the knob that controls the angle of the fence. Just make sure you move carefully and slowly, and make sure you don't upset the angle of the fence. Go ahead and remove both spring clamps and both squares. Then, using one of the squares, check to see if the fence remained at 90. You can do this by putting a square up against the fence and the table and then tapping it to see if you hear any noise. If you do hear noise, then you need to repeat the whole process again. When you've got it to the point where it's no longer making noise, clamp one of the squares at one end of the fence, and then slowly start to tighten the set screw. The idea here is just to have it make contact. You don't want to over-tighten it. If you do over-tighten it, this is going to happen. If this does happen, pretty much the only way to fix it is to go through the whole process again, which I did off camera. Once you've got it to where you're pretty sure it's square and it's no longer making noise when you tap on it, you can go one step further and check it with a feeler gauge. You can really go crazy with this if you want. In my case, the smallest feeler gauge I have is 0.8 of an inch, and that's good enough for my purposes. Hey, thanks for watching. I really hope you liked this video, and I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section below. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe, or if you have any quick questions you want answered, hit me up on Facebook or on Twitter. And until next time, I hope you have fun building something.